Davidson Bread, that's the old company?
That's the company that was here for 3 generations of Davidsons.
Wow.
So is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Lynn's our contact here at Davidson Courtyards, and she's going to give us a little bit of a tour about what we're looking at here tonight, and then we'll shut the lights down and get started on things, okay?
All right, so this is the cafe area. Just to sit or rest or whatever during the evening, you can just come and hang out here. If you
Okay,
like.
okay.
So is this a restaurant or a bar?
Yeah,
Or,
it's a cafe restaurant,
Okay.
and it was licensed, and the next people will license it as well. So this was the original part of the building.
I think this was Bailey's Blades and Bows when we were here the
Yeah,
last
it might
time
have
and we
been.
couldn't get in here. The 2 guys are gonna get stuck behind us, dilly-dallying, looking at stuff.
So Dawn's Closet, she's Dawn Quinn, she's been a tenant here for a long time. An antique,
yes.
she has an antique shop.
Was it?
Bathroom and laundry.
Who's you working?
Good there.
Right now we're working with Joe Reese.
Okay.
You know Joe?
Yeah, I know a bit. I don't
Jesus.
know in person, I know.
So the other basement is through this way.
It's through this way, okay?
So step by step.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of that company Raymond was working for? Is it-
Site
Yeah.
of a toy store that looked very similar to this area over
Yes,
here.
that's what I think.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, and I saw the picture when I read the article, but I assumed because this fireplace looks so
It
similar.
looks similar to the other one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because there used to be like wood at the top as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here at Davidson Courtyard again. We were last here in this space in 2008. We, at the moment, only have 1 tenant. I thought there was no tenants, but it appears there's just 1 tenant right now. The other spaces are all empty, which is very convenient for us. So we don't have any interference and very little stuff to have to worry about as well, too. There's some interesting little happenings that have happened here recently and some memories from the past as well too. We have some different equipment with us tonight, so we'll see what happens. We will work our way through the spaces. We have some of the rooms upstairs and a couple of basements to investigate. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun tonight. We'll see what happens, okay? Lights out.
I have this device right beside me, and if you come close up to it and talk into it, I'm able to hear you. I also have another one that has a very faint green light on it, and if you come close, it'll light everything up.
That was me.
No big fairy didn't come to any of these 2.
My light was blinking.
So if we do have somebody with us that was here and saw us here 10 years ago, and you wanted to share something with us then, you can still do so tonight. We do have the equipment to be able to hear you
I heard like a bomb.
upstairs.
A
Yeah.
bomb
There was like a bang.
comes upstairs.
You
Okay.
heard that too? Okay.
Yeah, I heard that. And if it is you and you are making noise, you're going to have to do something different or loud enough that it's in this room with us, because there are other people in the building and we may not know it's you trying to reach us.
You'll have to be creative. Distinctive.
Yeah, definite footsteps upstairs.
Unique.
So if you are here, if you've been kind of watching people come and go and businesses come and go, and maybe even remember us from being here 10 years ago, some of us were not here. Can you please introduce yourself to us? Can you tell us your name? My friend Sheena here has a device that if you talk, while we can't hear you, she may be able to hear you, and I'll definitely be able to hear you when I listen to it later. Can you tell me what year it was for you? What year were you here? Did you have a business here? What type of business did you have here? How do you feel about the businesses that have come and gone in this place? There's been several different people in here, different businesses in here selling a variety of merchandise. Have you been happy with the new people that have come in? Are you happy that this building still exists and basically still doing what it's been doing for how many years? What year was this?
Oh goodness, I don't remember.
1890.
You know, easily
Yeah.
over 100 years. I mean, it looks different, but it's still here. And in this day and age, that's very rare, you know. Older buildings get torn down for new modern big box centers. So it must feel good that it's still here. I know if I had been here, I'd be very happy. Okay. We're going to be moving on over to another part of the building. Would you do the honor of maybe following us? Maybe share some stories with us about what else has been here in the past? Because we don't know all the history.
And if anyone else is here, collect them and bring them with you. We can have a little group meeting. Were there ever any accidents here that you want to share and tell us about?
Who's your prime minister right now? Sometimes you can get a year from now.
Yes.
Must be frustrating to walk around with like people all the time and you're trying to get their attention and nobody seems to listen to you or hear you. This is your opportunity to say something to us. We got equipment that will record your voice. And if you have a message you'd like to pass on, please. We will hear you.
So can you tell me what business you had or what business was here when you were alive? Most recently, it was a cafe, and it's going to be another one in about a month. So lots of people coming and going, people sitting, having coffees and teas, and maybe the odd beer. I don't know if it's licensed or not, but just enjoying the environment, just taking in the history while they're having their beverages or their snacks. Do you like watching them when they do that? Does it make you feel good that people are still enjoying the place? What keeps you here? What brings you back here all the time? Is it the environment? Did you have a business here that it literally was your life, so you don't know where to go? When there's people here and they're sitting at the tables and they're having their coffees and their teas, do you try to communicate with them? Do you try to say, hey, I'm here, but they don't see you?
Well, we have two guests with us in this section of the video. The current tenant of Pearl's Gem. Is that what the name of it is? Beautiful. And if you want to introduce yourselves.
I'm Bonnie Dow Pepper, and Pearl was my mom. Her daughters, we kind of had a little thing where we would say that we were her gems. So when I had the opportunity to open the business, I called it Pearl's Gem. This is my girl Mel. She is now my daughter-in-law, and my mom, Pearl Dow, was the last Mrs. Dow, and now that she's married my son, she is the next
I am now
Mrs.
Melissa Dow.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us into your space tonight. And I understand that when you were setting up in here, how long ago was that?
Well, I got the keys September 1st, so I spent the good month of September. The kids got married on the 5th, and I opened on the 12th, so the majority of October. So the majority of those 6 weeks, I had the windows papered and was painting and preparing pieces for the shop.
Okay.
So a lot of times I would spend, 10 to 12 hour days and would paint until like 11:30 at night. times, felt very peaceful, no real experiences, but one night, none of this was set up. I had different stations with tarps and painting various pieces of furniture. And one night I was right in the area behind me, painting. I was crouched down on my knees, and just felt like somebody was right in my face. Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything, just felt as if someone was standing very too close to you. And just kind of like somebody went and blew in my face, and my reaction was to lean back, and I just right away I was like, okay, you can stay here if you behave yourself. And said it out loud. I figured I was alone.
Did it
and
happen
felt
more
okay,
than? Did it happen more than once?
Maybe 2 times, 3 times. The third time I went home because I knew I was overtired, and I thought, maybe I'm imagining this.
Okay.
But other than that, not really anything.
How were you feeling when it happened?
Mildly surprised, I guess, but not scared or anything. And normally, like I was saying earlier, I can't even watch a commercial for a horror movie or anything. Clearly, I have a fear of the dark. But
You're doing beautifully well in the dark here right now.
yeah, well, because Melissa's holding my hand.
And we do have a bit of light here.
Yeah.
Well, and too, I feel that my mom's kind of like my, I guess for lack of a better term, guardian angel, and
Yes.
is always here, so.
There was one night where I was here, I want to say I was helping you set up, but I was more like just kind of sitting here watching her do things. And I had fell asleep actually behind the cash counter. And she had woke me up. She's like, you don't want to sleep here. This place is haunted. And this is before we knew there was a paranormal investigation here before.
Okay.
And before we spoke to the landlord. And she had told me this experience that she had with the face blowing. And that she didn't feel like it was threatening or anything. And then it was a coincidence because literally just a couple days later, Lynn was like, oh, well, actually.
Yeah, I was telling Lynn about it. And I don't know, I guess if somebody asked me and I had to answer, I think it's just there's a curiosity. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Do you feel me, kind of thing?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think people are people, and quantum physics has said energy is energy, and we are energy in a cellular form. Cells die off, and the energy is still there. Just like with a tree,
Yeah.
just like with anything. And I think that energy can kind of hang around. Again, I don't pretend to be a quantum physicist, but we all have our different beliefs. So I think, like my mom's energy is still with me. And I believe that. So whose energy it is, I don't know.
Yeah. Her mother, Pearl, passed away about a year ago now.
A year ago, October 14th.
And she speaks very frequently that she feels that type of energy, her mother's energy with her. So whether or not the energy that I think you felt that night could have been her, it could have been something that was already a resident here. So we don't know, but it wasn't threatening, so that's good.
No.
Did she ever blow you kisses?
No.
No?
Not really. Very affectionate though. Not always, but when I became a teenager, I sort of demanded it. So, and when I say sort of, yes. So yeah, very, very affectionate. I was the baby of the family. My sisters have always said that, well, my mom would introduce me up until weeks before she passed away as, this is my baby. No name. So yeah, my sisters and brothers kind of feel like she, I guess out of all of us, maybe doted over me a little bit.
Well, and she kind of favored Ben, her son, my husband, as well. Even in her later years in life, and she was going through Alzheimer's, and she may not have remembered her daughter's names, but every time Ben would walk through that door, she knew exactly who he was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was very nice.
Yeah.
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 Well, if it was her coming to visit and say, I'm here, what a peaceful thought.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I mean, like anybody knows their family or their friends or their loved ones. I know
Mhm.
my mom.
That wouldn't have
And-
been like her?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
know though.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now what we'd like to do is spend a few minutes and just simply ask questions. So whether we know the name of the spirit or not that is or has been here, we'll ask them to be here. And if they are, speak up, touch one of us, make themselves known, show up on some of the equipment we've got. There are various things that will do different responses when energy comes close.
I have two devices I am using. One is a recorder, which I can hear with supersonic hearing. If you'd like to come to me and talk into it, that would be wonderful. Or I have a light meter, that was the
Dan leaving.
on a chair. If you'd like to come and sit down with us, that would be great. And if you see this light, I'll turn it off and turn it on. When I turn it on, all the lights go on. If you can come close to it and light it up, that would be great. You never know, will it? I'm putting this light device by the fireplace, and I'd really like you to come and play with it and touch it. Oh, or is that the fireplace doing that? I can't do it.
The fireplace sets it off?
Yeah.
Oh wow, does it ever? Yep.
Is
All
that
right.
normal for heat or?
It's the electrical energy.
It's natural gas.
Okay.
So I will put it on the table
Yeah.
instead.
If there is something here, please know that we are not here to hurt you. And we are just curious about you.
Mm-hmm. And as before, you can stay, but be nice.
Behave.
Behave.
You're always welcome, Jared. You're always safe.
That's just our meter shutting down. That's that.
Keeps us on our toes. Anything else as we wrap up?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for participating with us. It's lovely to have some guests and work in a space that has had some activity. Don't know if anybody heard anything or saw anything while we were taping,
No.
but in the review we might come up with something.
Yeah, that'd
Which
be
is kind of fun,
interesting
yeah.
to,
Yeah. Jump from 21 to 26.
Really?
Now it's going down.
The camera again doesn't want to focus on you. There we go.
Perfect.
Not at all.
And the average temperature well goes what? 27.
21.5.
So Sheena and I just came back up out of the basement from below, I believe it's called Cafe Wim. That was our second trip down there. We'd had a temperature jump on the mill earlier. We told you about that. That was interesting. We wanted to go and try and repeat that if we could in a different time period. Just take a distance and go back down. So just the two of us went down and sat in the same spot, asked some more questions, some different questions. The K2 jumped around a little bit and the millimeter started to misbehave. And we tried to get it to repeat and it would read the current temperature and then drop a distinct negative. And the screen started to fade, so it died. So we don't know for sure what was happening this time, believing that the batteries dying was causing some strangeness. But the K2 is another beast unto itself, and it was still jumping a little bit. We continued asking some more questions in the dark, and a space that was just fine for us. Several times we've been down there tonight, was suddenly very uncomfortable. And we sort of called it quits with the battery dead on one device and said, okay, that's it. We've been here for quite a while. Let's close up, go back. And we headed on out of there and came back over. So we are wrapping up here tonight. We're going to go talk to our host and see if we can perhaps do a repeat again when it's a little bit warmer temperature and all the construction is done. And see if we can get a few more readings after that to go inside with this and put them all together. That being said, I believe we're done tonight. Lights back on.
The saucer